And just like that, the 2026 spring training season has come to an end, leaving some Diamondbacks fans excited, some terrified, but pretty much everybody unsure of how the month of April and the rest of the season will go for the Snakes.
You are Locked On Diamondbacks, your daily Arizona Diamondbacks podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up? I'm Daynen Biggs. This episode is brought to you by MLB The Show 26. Visit MLBThe.show/lockedon and use code LOCKEDON to unlock a pack for use in Diamond Dynasty, available now on PlayStation 5, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. Rated E for everyone. Today, we're going to be recapping the 2026 spring training, followed by a comparison to previous seasons and how those lined up with our performance for those respective years. But first, let's recap the game yesterday against the Guardians, which, yes, the Diamondbacks did lose the game yesterday. Again, 2 losses in a row gets them to 500 on the spring training season, but it wasn't quite as bad as the game before. We didn't almost get no hit. We had 8 hits. So at least that's something. The Guardians did win 10-5, and Michael Soroka got the start. And I hope, I mean, we weren't able to physically watch the game because it wasn't broadcast, but following along play-by-play and everything, I hope this was an example of him just getting the reps and figuring out pitches, because it was not a good outing. The game started with 4 runs in the first inning. He didn't even finish the first inning. They had to pull him out so that somebody else could come in and get the final out before putting him back in the second. But yeah, very first, like, it's a single, stolen base, home run. Oh, goodness. He strikes out a guy. He strikes out Kyle Manzardo, but then gives up a single, gives up a walk, strikes another guy out, hits the next guy, gives up a single. Like, and then they had to pull him. Then we come in, don't do anything. And then he comes back in, gets through the second, 1, 2, 3. So at least we got that bottom of the lineup, And then actually, is that the bottom of the lineup? No, it was the beginning of the lineup. Yeah, he went through the entire lineup in the first inning. So back to the top, strikes everybody out, or gets 1, 2, 3. In the second, we don't do anything. McCann does get a double. So that's good. I think James McCann is showing in spring that he is pretty much what he was last season, which is he doesn't get on base very often, but when he does, it's with a lot of power. So that's neat. But then nothing else happened there. In the third, Soroka's still in, gives up a double, gives up a home run, gives up a single, a wild pitch. These are all in order, by the way. I'm not like skipping stuff. Strikes a guy out, flies out, pops out. Okay, great. So struggling. So Soroka is not looking super solid. But again, guys do really well in spring, don't do really well in the regular season. Don't do really well in spring, do really well in the regular season. I am crossing my fingers and my toes that is the case for Michael Soroka. We had a pretty good 4th inning where the Diamondbacks offensively, and this was all of our major leaguers, by the way, as well. Tim Tawa gets a single. Nolan Arenado gets a single. Pavin Smith gets a single. These are all in order. Carlos Santana grounds into a force out. But then James McCann gets a single, and Jordan Lawler gets a single. So it was that small ball, next man up sort of play that the Diamondbacks, when they do well, they do really well. So that was good. And then after everybody had gotten their hits, they all get pulled, because that's typically how the last game of spring training goes. Had they all stayed in, who knows? Maybe the Diamondbacks would have been able to make a comeback. But, spring training, and it's the last game of spring training. Everybody's feeling, ready to get the season started. So, and then from there, Michael Soroka's out. We had a handful of other people come in. Spencer Jesting came in. He pitched a clean 1 2/3 inning, gave up only 1 hit. Andrew Hoffman came in, gave up a single hit, pitched a good inning other than that. Juan Murillo came in, gave up a single, but was credited with an earned run because he was pulled. after 3 batters, and Santana, not Carlos Santana, what was his name? Sammy Santana? I don't remember.
No.
I don't remember what his name was. Sandro Santana. Thank you, Tate, for your help.
Anytime.
Gave up. He comes in, first batter gives up a home run. Or no, first batter gives up a walk, then a wild pitch, then a home run. So, but that one of those runs was credited to Murillo, and that was mostly how the game went for the Diamondbacks. Really, nothing too crazy. We had that one good inning, which of course that could have continued on had the players stayed in the game, which they didn't, which is fine. But not the kind of game, like had the game gone the way it did the other day in game 1 against the Guardians, I'd be pretty darn worried right now. Instead, I am, I was going to say cautiously optimistic, but that doesn't even quite capture the way I'm feeling right now. I am feeling like I'm feeling cautiously pessimistic, I think, at this point.
Oh, no.
I'm not super excited about how April is going to go for the Diamondbacks because it's going to be a rough April. And we're going to talk about this tomorrow to introduce the season with the season opener and everything. So this will be a tomorrow show, but it's going to be a rough April. And yeah, the depth is kind of worrying me a little bit. And just our guys' ability to really like go out there and get the job done. If they start getting if they get shut down in the first few innings, is that it? Like, is that the game, and is our pitching going to be able to hold up? Like, is Gallen and Soroka and Rodriguez and Nelson and I guess we're going through everybody. So Fott and Kelly, are they going to be able to come in and actually like hold their own, or are they going to struggle for the first couple weeks or more against these really good teams? Because if the Diamondbacks start out going real slow, it's going to be a rough season.
And is our all right bullpen going to be all right?
And then is our all right bullpen going to be all right? Exactly. So some worrisome things there. However, this game makes me feel a little bit better seeing our major leaguers stepping up and really kind of doing, getting stuff done.
Another thing, Soroka in the World Baseball Classic wasn't great, but he was...
Oh, he held his own.
He was better than what he showed in this.
Yeah, no. In the World Baseball Classic, where the games were like, they mattered. Like they were pitching, they were playing for their country, and they were really trying every single game. They were trying to win, no matter what. And yeah, Soroka did pretty okay in all of those. So I'm not gonna knock Soroka too much because again, this is spring training. This is the time to get mechanics figured out. It's the time to dial in pitches, even if that is at the expense of giving up hits or walks or home runs or whatever. So we will see how Soroka does.
Also, doing pretty okay isn't the most glowing endorsement.
Yeah, exactly. Like Eduardo Rodriguez did phenomenal in his last outing for Team Venezuela. And even that is kind of like, that doesn't make you feel completely safe in that. And so a did okay, even less so, But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about our spring training. Let's recap where we are, players that kind of were breakout players, maybe some disappointments, and kind of how the team is looking as a whole.
Hey, this is Jeff Carr from Locked On Reds, and I've reached the point in my life where my wife and I are looking toward the future. We've got the house, we've got the career, we even have an awesome dog, but now we need to secure that future. That's where Ethos comes in for us. When I look at this insurance or that insurance and I try to pick one, I might as well be reading an entirely different language. Ethos clears up the noise and gets me set up with exactly what I need, because Ethos makes getting life insurance fast and easy, and it's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos now by going to ethos.com/lockedonmlb. In as little as 10 minutes, you can get a free quote and up to $3 million in coverage at ethos.com/lockedonmlb. That's ethos.com/lockedonmlb. ethos.com/LockedOnMLB, ethos.com/LockedOnMLB. Application times and rates may vary.
What if sports were traded like markets? Well, now you can put your sports IQ to work in real time with Robinhood prediction markets. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. You can buy or sell your positions live all game long. Use your sports knowledge in the moments that matter. Robinhood prediction markets changes the game. It's people moving the action. So when the momentum shifts, you can move with it. I always knew the game, but never had a dynamic way to apply that knowledge. Now I can actually take part live in a market powered by people. You're no longer just a spectator. Play by play, you decide. Trade every play with Robinhood. Now available across the US. Download the Robinhood app now to begin. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm. And we're back, and I wanted to say, as always, thank you so much for making Locked On Diamondbacks your first listen of the day, every day, because we're here every day now. Thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you for leaving your comments, by the way, in the videos. We are going to be doing a Hearing From You segment tomorrow when we open up the season. So please leave your thoughts, your questions, your comments, your hot takes, even your cold takes in the comment section of the YouTube videos, as that is the best way to leave your thoughts with us. And don't forget to check out the Everydayer Club for ad-free episodes and access to a group chat with me and other listeners of the show. Tap the link in the show notes or go to lockedondiamondbacks.supercast.com. Let's get to it. I was looking up something during that ad break, and I forgot to finish looking it up. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. So spring training has wrapped up. How did it go? I think it went fine. Really good in some ways, not good in other ways. And, but indefinitive, undecided in general. As we know, spring training record doesn't really matter. Like the win-loss record isn't a huge deal. And even when you go into the players, because you say, well, it's about the players. Even players who do really well in spring training don't always do well in the regular season and vice versa. So it's not a good metric to gauge how a season's going to go. And we're actually going to talk about that in the next segment. But how did the Diamondbacks do? Well, they ended up going 500, 15-15, and won. It's unclear if that was counted at all or if it was put in a win or a loss or both column. But we did have a tie with the Padres. But the Padres are also 15-15. So I guess it doesn't really matter. But we tied with the Rockies and the Padres. And we ended up finishing, according to MLB.com, above both of them. So I don't know if that's because we beat them more than they beat us or something, but that puts us at 6th place in the Cactus League. Cool. Yeah. I guess, you know, that in order, that's Dodgers, Giants, Rangers, Guardians, Angels, Diamondbacks. So you're welcome, Guardians, for letting you guys win so that you guys could be in 4th place. Good job. Anyway, I don't know. Our runs scored was 172, which actually puts us pretty low on in these standings. I believe that was it won't let me sort by it, but that puts us at like the 4th lowest in the Cactus League. And then our runs allowed was 201, which puts us at a negative 29 run differential, which again, you put in a guy, he gives up 5-6 runs, which we saw a lot. A guy who's not going to be pitching in the majors anytime soon. And teams do that. But every team was doing that too. So it wasn't just us. So it's not like it's that probably is more indicative of our depth than anything else. But that one was pretty high, but it wasn't the highest. I think it was probably similar. We were probably looking at like the 5th or 6th highest in the Cactus League. So let's talk about players. Let's see who did well, who didn't do well. Some players that left a mark on us. For one, we have to talk about Jordan Lawler. did exceptional, had a great spring training, especially considering his 2025 season. Jordan Lawler was definitely made a what's the word I'm trying to say? Definitely made some noise. Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. He batted a 333 average, which is not bad at all, in 48 at-bats too. So that is like a small sample size, like we've been saying all spring. But I mean, for the small sample size of spring training, that's a good amount. Had a 1.05 OPS, which is very good. Hit 4 home runs, 7 RBIs, another hit a double, 29 touched bases, which is pretty good, which means that, yeah, he rounded the bases a good deal, 16 hits. So pretty good outing for Jordan Lawler in spring. We also had guys like Alec Thomas, who showed a lot of good promise. A guy who struggled a lot last season and has been like Alec Thomas has been, he was our top prospect at one point. He came in and has been doing better, a little bit better every year, but not at the rate that we were kind of like, that we're hoping he would do. We were kind of hoping he would pop off at some point. And this off season, he really tried, he made a lot of adjustments to his swing, to his approach, and it seemingly has made a difference, at least initially in spring training. His first at bat, I remember he comes up to bat and I'm like, okay, he changed his swing. Let's see how it does. And he hit a double, like right off the bat. And then he walked opposite field double, and he walked like 3 times in that game. So he was looking good. Let's actually go ahead and take a look at his numbers, which he did take some time out to go play for Team Mexico, where he hit a home run and he did a lot of good stuff as well. But yeah, this offseason or this spring, yeah, 3 walks, only 7 strikeouts to those 3 walks. He only had 31 at bats, so not quite as much, but 10 hits, 3 doubles, a triple, 2 home runs, 8 RBIs, had an OPS of 1.07, a 323 average. So he's looking pretty good. The question is for him and Lawler, are they going to be able to continue that going into the regular season? Because we're likely to see, as more and more at-bats come in, especially against major league pitchers, which a lot of these at-bats were against minor league pitchers. So that is something to factor. But this time going into the majors and going into the regular season, there's more scouting reports. There's more data on all of them. And we'll see if Lawler and Thomas are able to use that data and stuff and, Moneyball number stuff to their advantage. Brandon Pfaadt had a phenomenal spring, our best pitcher in spring training. And which isn't to say that everybody else was bad, kind of ramping up into things, finding their spot. Zach Gallen needed to work on a few pitches himself, and at the expense of giving up some hits and walks and things like that. Eduardo Rodriguez had a good outing in the spring, had a phenomenal outing for Team Venezuela to win the World Baseball Classic. He wasn't pitching against minor leaguers. He was pitching against not only major leaguers, but some of the best major leaguers that there are. And then Michael Soroka again worries me, but not so much that I'm like throwing in the towel or anything like that. Ryan Nelson had a pretty good outing as well. So we'll see. Merrill Kelly getting back healthy. So let's see how they do. A couple other guys, Ryan Waldschmidt, it wasn't even sure that he was going to be invited to or if he was going to be playing that much in spring training. Played a lot for a guy who's never played in AAA and did very, very well. Wouldn't be surprised if we see him in a role going into the majors at some point this season, though not necessarily a guaranteed thing, but we'll see how he does in AAA this year. Amaya did really well. I was surprised by that. Jose Fernandez did really well. Another kind of surprise there. 2 infielders that really, I don't think anybody was expecting to see a ton from, but they did very well. Tommy Troy did pretty well also. We're kind of hoping to see a lot from him, and we did, and he did pretty good. Tate, you had you had a pitcher, Gerardo Carrillo, that you wanted to bring up as well.
I did. He pitched in the game on Monday. He had a cutter sinker combination. If I remember right, they were both at about the same velocity, but one moved one way, one moved the other way.
Yeah, that's a wicked combination for a guy who can pinpoint it and has a lot of movement.
And that's been his thing. He's been a career minor leaguer up to this point. And from what they were saying on the broadcast, it sounded like that was his problem, was locating. But in the game on Monday, he came in after Ryan Thompson gave up a leadoff double, and he was in control.
He made it happen.
I was not worried about that runner on second at all. And the spring numbers also back that up. He was good for the entire spring.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like with him and also with Brandon Garcia, if I'm being completely honest, they've struggled with locating pitches, and they've improved dramatically this spring. Brandon Garcia, not perfect yet.
He had some flare-ups.
He had some flare-ups, but he still has improved dramatically, I think. His first, 7 or 8 innings that he pitched, his first 7 or 8 appearances, he was excellent. So, and Carrillo, I think same thing. Are there going to be some flare-ups with Carrillo? Potentially. He's only played like a handful of games in AAA. He's never made it to AAA until last season. So he's still got a little ways to go, I think, before he's making the majors. I don't know. You seem to be pretty confident that we'll see him this year, though.
I think so, with how bullpens are, with how our bullpen is.
And that's a fair point.
And yeah, I mean, people come up that you've never heard of all the time. And yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah, which I think there's a lot of guys ahead of him, but that would get the call up first. But depending on how he does in AAA, he may show that he's got it figured out now and that he's ready for the majors, which, yeah, he may leapfrog guys like Philip Abner and Brandon Garcia if he does well enough. So I think the spring has given him the shot that maybe he needed to make that happen. As far as the team itself goes, listen, I'm worried about our depth. If Corbin Carroll gets injured again, if Ketel Marte gets injured, if Geraldo Perdomo just isn't finding it like he had it last year, I start to get worried. If our outfield continues to dwindle a little bit, then yeah, I'm a little bit worried. Because as our starters come out of these spring training games, our backup guys didn't seem to really be doing it once the major league pitchers were pitching. Against the minor league pitchers, they were doing okay, but in the beginning of spring training, but as the spring has kind of moving on, they kind of slowed down. So that worries me a bit. Again, not thrown in the towel. I think that the Diamondbacks still have it pretty well. And hopefully, we had some bad luck last year with injuries and some performances. Maybe this year it'll flip. That's just how baseball is, but we can't count on that, obviously. So a little bit worried. That's me. Also, the bullpen as a whole got me a little bit worried. That all righty bullpen. I don't know when they were like, okay, well, Kevin Ginkel and I'm blanking. Who was the other lefty specialist that they were going to have? It was Ginkel and Murillo. Kevin Ginkel, I think he's a good lefty specialist. His splits look pretty good. Murillo, though, his splits are better against lefties, but they're not phenomenal. So that worries me a bit as well. And then what happens when injury strikes? What happens when things like that happen? We will get a little bit of a bump when Merrill Kelly comes back. Presumably Soroka will go into the bullpen and he can eat up innings. So that'll be helpful. But I'm a tish worried.
I'm personally worried about Paul Sewald as the closer.
Yeah. Yeah, I am kind of too. But
I hope he proves me wrong.
there's honestly, and here's the thing where we're at with spring training. There is very little for everybody, and there's nothing for some to say that they won't be great this season. Like even Michael Soroka, I would say there's a little bit with his performance lately. There's a little bit to say that he won't be great this season, but I'd say that's far from a guarantee that he won't be great. I think everybody is going in kind of on an even playing field, clean slate. And that's the thing that's so wonderful about the start of the baseball season. And any player can have a breakout season. And we see players have breakout seasons after having really bad springs. So it really doesn't say that much. And I want to talk about that in the next segment because we're going to compare how the Diamondbacks did in the regular season compared to their respective spring training years and what correlation we see there. So stay right there. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. The tournament is here. One of the best times of the year. Brackets, buzzer beaters, upsets. It's nonstop action from tip to final cut down. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers a way to stay in the action all tournament long. And here's the best part. You get up to $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days. That means 10 chances to stay involved throughout the entire tournament. You can mix it up however you want. Game picks, futures, or even same game parlays for bigger potential payouts. It's perfect for the tournament because every day there's something new, different matchups, new storylines, and more ways to get involved as the bracket unfolds. So visit FanDuel.com to sign up today. That's FanDuel.com to get in on the action. Today, I'm also thrilled to be talking to you about our sponsor, MLB The Show 26. That's right, the greatest game in baseball is back with its newest installment. Baseball fans are going to have a hard time pulling themselves away from this game. As a kid obsessed with baseball, but who was never all that good at it, MLB The Show has always been my personal outlet to experience the game like never before. To be able to insert myself in the show and experience the ups and downs of a professional baseball career with Road to the Show has been beyond enjoyable for me throughout the years. And if you're a gamer, a baseball fan, or just want to enjoy America's favorite pastime in a new and exciting way, you are going to love MLB The Show 26. Play as your favorite team and franchise players and see if you have what it takes to win your own World Series. Visit MLBThe.show/lockedon and use code LOCKEDON, all one word, to unlock a pack for use in Diamond Dynasty. Internet connection required. Available now on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and Nintendo Switch. Rated E for everyone. All right, let's see how we did in previous years. I'm going to tell you right now, though, as we go through this, I want you to try your best to find a correlation because I don't think you can. I couldn't.
Challenge accepted.
We are not going to break down every single number here because that's not fun to listen to. But what we will say is I'll kind of start things out, and I'm not going to give the exact records either because numbers. We had a pretty not great spring training, our inaugural season. We had a pretty not great season, our inaugural season. We were a little under 500 in 1999, which was our best season of the franchise. And we had the same record in 2000, which was a considerably worse season. We were like 2 games above 500 in 2001, 2 games above 500 in 2002, both great seasons for the D-backs. And so there's like kind of correlation, but kind of not. Like we had very similar record from 1999 to 2003 with wildly different results. 100 wins to 84 wins. Like a World Series to missing the playoffs. So that didn't really seem to have a huge impact. But so far, a bad spring training seems to correlate with a bad season. For example, 2004, which was our worst season in franchise history, had a very bad spring training. We went 12-19 in spring training. So 7 games under 500, not good. Didn't have a good 2005 either in spring training or in the regular season. But then from there, we kind of got back to the normal. Floating around 500 2006, we were a little above 500. 2007, though, another outlier here, we were 20-12. Very good spring training, and we did win the championship, or the NL West championship that season.
Can I jump ahead a little bit?
Yes, please.
For a fan like me who is worried that after seeing this spring training, they're going to stink.
Right.
Can you go to the last season where they did objectively stink? Can you see what their spring training record was in 2021?
Spring training 2021. So we were, for 2021, by the way, regular season, 52-110 was our record. Horrible. And our spring training was 9-17. So were there, yeah. So,
and what did we go this season?
And this season we were 15-15. We were exactly 500. For the record.
All right.
We were exactly 500, or we were under 500 in 1999, which was our best season as a franchise. So that doesn't seem to match exactly. We also, but on the other end, we had in 2011 when we won the division again, we were 12-25. There were 37 games that year apparently in spring training. Though the AI says there were 37, a website said 35. So there's probably some but either way, 12-25, horrible spring training, but we won the division. And then from there, like, we had a really good spring training in 2015, not a great season. We had the best spring training we ever had as a team was in 2016. And if you remember 2016, that was the last of a regime, I guess you could say, because we went 69-93, but had the best spring training of the franchise. So it's like,
maybe Tony La Russa really wanted to do well in spring training, and then
thought it would be
who
funny
cares after that?
Thought it would be funny to not do really well after that. So, is there a correlation? Last season we went 17-14 in spring training, a little over 500, missed the playoffs. The year before that we went 500, missed the playoffs. The year before that, one above 500, made the playoffs. The year before that, 500, missed the playoffs. It's just, the Diamondbacks have kind of, since 2023, we've kind of been in this 500 region, both in spring training and the regular season. We're exactly 500 right now. I think the Diamondbacks are going to be similar to the team they were last season. My hope is that we can be closer to that 89. I'm betting on 90 wins. That's my big, like, all the betting websites and stuff are saying that the Diamondbacks are going to win like 79 games, 79.5 games, I think is what it is. I think it's going to be 90 games. That's my hope and desire and prayer and bet, is that they're going to win 90. And right now, the way that spring training went, that completely could happen. Like, there's nothing that spring training did this year that tells us that it's going to be worse. Now, if we went 9-17, like we did in 2021, I'd be nervous. But even then, 2011, we went 12-25 and we won the division. So we won 94 games that year. So there's not really much. And over on the AZ Snake Pit, Jim McClellan, who, by the way, if you guys don't follow, you definitely should. He went ahead and plotted out every spring training, or every year spring training win percentage, and every year overall percentage. And guess what? The correlation is there if you squint so hard that your eyes are closed and you imagine a correlation. There really isn't one. Our best year as a team was our worst year in spring training, and our best spring training year was an average year for the overall record, and then the rest are just plastered in the middle. And he's like, well, what about April? Is there a correlation between spring training performance and our April performance? There's even less of a correlation. Like, it's actually funny how it gets more spread out. I would show you, but a lot of you guys are listening to this, and also I don't have the capability to do that at the moment.
Just imagine a bunch of dots in places that random places.
Yeah, imagine a graph with random dots everywhere. That's what it looks like. Slightly less random for the overall. It's sort of goes in the up direction that you would expect, kinda, but really not. Like, it is very random looking. So to summarize, the Diamondbacks are in a perfectly good and acceptable spot when it comes to their chances of succeeding this season. The spring training results have not diminished or improved their chances going into 2026. The thing that I'm looking at, the results that I look at are guys that are going to be the future of the team. Jordan Lawler, Alec Thomas, Tim Tawa, Ryan Waldschmidt, Brandon Pfaadt, like all these guys had a great spring, and they're going to be the ones that are going to be leading the team, not only this year, but over the next, 3, 4, maybe 10 years, depending on, if we re-sign them and all that kind of stuff, depending on how good they really are, can we afford them? But that's what I'm looking at. And that was good. The thing that wasn't good, same as last year, our pitching kind of leaves a lot to be desired. So can we hold out? Can we compete in the first couple months until we get Corbin Burns back, till Merrill Kelly's back to full form, till AJ Puck, Justin Martinez are back, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. is back? Can we be competitive until then? And then once they do come back, we go into the All-Star break, we go into July. Are we not only competitive, but are we leading? Like, I'm not saying like, oh, we're the best team in baseball, but are we like good? Are we set to make the playoffs? Because if we are, the trade deadline comes around, we add a few key players to the roster. We're buyers instead of sellers. We really have a shot to not only make the playoffs, but I mean, I don't know if you guys watched, we had our division preview with all the other division guys, and I think I annoyed everybody because I was like, I think the Diamondbacks are going to win the division. That's my bold claim. But it all depends on if they can compete in the beginning of the season. So if they can't, if they're not competitive, we get our new guys and we're at that 500 mark, then that's not going to happen. So that's spring training wrapped up, bow, it's done. I'm not displeased with it. I'm not super ecstatic about it. I think it puts us in a perfectly good spot. Done. Be sure to follow us on X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Locked On Diamondbacks. We're on YouTube as well as every other place you get your podcasts. If you want to see more of me, you can find more of my YouTube channels and projects at my website, slackshack.tv. If you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club is built for you. Get Locked On Diamondbacks ad-free, plus members-only Discord access and more. Head to lockedondiamondbacks.supercast.com to join the club. Thank you so much for watching and for listening. Love you guys. Love this team. Super excited for 2026 to get started. And I will see you to preview said 2026 season tomorrow.